Welcome to the first book vlog of 2015. Come on, pal. There you go. Go get your toy. Go on. You're alright. Go get it. This is the first vlog for the novel I'm writing. Hopefully I'll do two, maybe three of these a week for the entirety of writing the book. So they'll be numbered so you can follow them. I'll create a playlist. As I said, I started yesterday. I got about 6,000 words written, which is quite good for me for a first day. Usually, I'm one of those people that goes in and has a really bad first day usually, and then the first week is like, it starts off really bad and just goes, and then the second week I hit my stride, and usually the first week's writing goes in the bin, and basically it starts from the second week's bit, and then I go back at the end and write what should have been at the start. But I'm quite like the first 6,000 words, so at this point they're staying. I didn't write as much today. I wrote my target, which is, as I wrote on Facebook and Twitter, my target is between 1,000 2,000 words a day, and eventually it'll add up. I don't think it's healthy to give yourself a target above 2,000 if you're a newbie. I've been writing since I was a kid, but this is my first attempt to actually write a novel of this type, so I consider myself a newbie. I'm hoping these vlogs will actually help other people that are writing, and they'll see where I go wrong or what I do that works, and that'll help them with their struggle with writing. I tend to need noise when I'm writing. I don't know about anyone else. I've heard a lot of people don't like to have music playing, and then there's others that like music, but they like music in a certain genre depending on what they're writing. I need a lot of noise, so it's either music playing, podcasts that I'm not, to be honest, fully listening to every word of. So I avoid the main podcasts I listen to. I don't listen to iFanboy, which is comic book podcast for people that aren't comic book fans that'll be watching this. I'll avoid that. That's one of my main ones. Any of the Kevin Smith podcasts that I listen to, I'll avoid them during my writing time. I'll listen to them on my coffee breaks. What I have found is there's a NaNoWriMo blog that these guys did last year, and they basically podcast. They basically did a episode every day, and they shoot the shit. You know, they talk about stuff that's nothing to do with writing, and they talk about stuff that's everything to do with writing. And I like having that on in the background. The music we're listening to now is a soundtrack I've put together that's basically the soundtrack for my novel. Um, Songs are an important part of it. They define the era that the chapters are set in. There'll be music, there'll be songs, there'll be events from that period in history. There'll be basically little taglines to chapters as I go along. No. Try to eat the junk out the bin, out the bin even. So the book opens in the 80s, opens in 1986. 1986 in Scotland was a bit You had the Commonwealth Games, which were probably the least successful Commonwealth Games in the last 30 years for a lot of reasons. One being, well, I'm not going into politics, but the games were unsuccessful partly due to the British government at the time stance on South Africa. So a lot of countries didn't take part, and it ended up costing the city of Edinburgh a lot of money to bail out the games. So you get that. The story basically starts in kind of the aftermath of that in a small town on the outskirts of Edinburgh, a very working class town. At this moment in time, the town's Penicuik, where I'm staying currently, but I don't know the area as well as I need to set something in the 80s and write about it convincingly in the 80s. So I'm not going to name street names. I'm not going to name areas. Probably. I think I might create a fictional town that's set. You know, it's based around where Penicuik actually is. It'll basically be set there, but it's a different town. It's going to be in the Pentland. It's going to fall under the Pentland Hills. That way I'll open myself up for being able to create things, like stuff that's happening. I can talk about people that didn't exist, and it can be a bit more freeing as a writer for that type of thing. Usually when I'm writing something, I write it in a fictional town. My comics all take place in fictional towns. I have a series of short stories set in a fictional town. They're all horror. A few things I've written take place in actual towns. My hometown features in some of my stories, Airdrie. I know it. Well, I say hometown, it's where I used to live. Airdrie Coatbridge area, known as the Monklands. I write a lot of stories set there because I know the area from when I was a kid. I know the area as a teenager. I know the area as an adult. So that's why I usually use it. You're alright, Poppy. Well, Poppy run a bit daft. So basically, the first 2 days, what I'm wanting to do this week is get enough chapters down that I feel like I know the character, even if stuff's changing along the way and I go back and redo it. Nothing is cut at this point. Usually I edit as I go, which is why my first novel attempt didn't work. I got stuck in the editing process. Poppy, come here. Come here. You alright? You alright? Come on. There you go. You up for a visit? There you go. You're alright. Uh-huh. Good girl. So this time, basically, I have words that are sentences, and all I've done is I put them in italics, so I know they're coming out. You just bite my face. You bit me on camera. I've got proof. You're gonna get your face cut. Alright, pal. Come here. There you go. Oh, you're alright. You're alright. You climbing? You looking for your mum? She'll be home soon. She'll be home soon. Sorry about that. What was I saying? Yeah, I put stuff in italics. That is as far as I go with editing. This is. I don't give a shit if there's stuff spelt wrong. I don't give a shit if stuff doesn't make sense. I'm getting words on page, and when the story's finished, I'll go back because I know that when it's finished, I can add to it if need be, and I can take away from it. More importantly, that would be my first. If I was given tips, I don't know why anyone would want to take a tip from me. I'm not successful, but if I was given tips, it would be do not edit as you go. It is a killer. You'll get stuck. wanting to make dialogue fancy, if do what I do basically, put the bloody little dialogue stuff up, put little brackets up, whatever, and just leave it blank. Use underline for sentences you don't like. If you don't know the name of a department of, like, say you're writing a military book and you don't know the name of something, instead of then immediately going and researching as you're writing, you should probably have done research for this type of thing before you start writing. But if you've not, just do underline a little bit and then start writing again. Skip to the next paragraph, fill it in later. This is the way I'm doing it now, and at this point in time, I'm churning out the words, so it's successful. It probably reads complete shit, but hopefully by the time I'm finished writing it, it will, be a lot better. One of the things that's annoyed me is I did what you shouldn't ever do. Today I looked on YouTube at some of these videos that's how to write a novel in 30 days, how to write a successful story, how to create characters that have this and that, right? And they're full of crap. They're absolutely full of crap. BS stuff by people that are probably done as much as I have, which is fuck all. The best advice is, if how to write a novel, it's easy. Sit in your arse and start writing words. Either type them, pen and paper, typewriter, whatever you want to do it, however you want to do it. That is it. Once you've got, I believe, 55,000 words is the minimum for a novel these days, which is hilarious. If you actually look at Frankenstein and stuff like that, it's half that. But when you get 55,000, 80,000 words, whatever it is, you have a novel. It might be shit, but you have a novel. Just sit down and write. Um, that's basically my advice. See the people that say write what you know. If you're like me and you know fuck all, that ain't helpful. Write what you can imagine, basically. I read somewhere, I can't remember who it is, which makes this not helpful. There's a really famous American writer. He's basically one of these writers that churns out 2, 3 books a year. Um, and he basically said, yeah, that's actually quite a bad. I'm underplaying how good he is. It's Harlan Coben, I've just remembered. It's a very good writer, but he doesn't research at all. He just writes. If it doesn't make sense to, like, say you're doing police procedure and if there's a cop reading it and they're like, oh, this is bullshit, isn't police procedure, doesn't matter. Not everyone that reads it is going to be a cop. Not everyone that reads a book is a fireman or a doctor or an astronaut or an elf or a god or a superhero, whatever you're writing about. Not everyone's that. Writing, you write a book. People read a book even for escapism. They don't read it to read their life. You hope. Um, I have researched police procedure. My father-in-law was a police officer. My mother-in-law at one point was a police officer. Her brother was a police officer. So I have people I can go to for police procedure. I have a book that tells you about how blood pools and stuff like that. And the stuff I've researched for that, I have used fuck all of so far. Basically, I write more about what the people see rather than see, feel, say, experience, rather than trying to write it and make it look like a bloody instructional manual type thing for how to do a crime scene. There's stuff that's happening at the first murder happens right off the bat. It happens, from the first line of the novel, you're into the first murder happening. You're inside the moment. And I go into great detail on a lot of things that could be quite jarring to read. which is the point of it. I don't like violence to read fun when it's this type of violence. Like, fair enough, you watch something like, say, a comic book type movie like Avengers, you don't want the violence to look authentic, like you're watching an MMA fight, because scare the shit at kids for a start. Um, but for a crime story like I'm writing a book about a serial killer and the police officer that wants to solve it and how it affects his life in every way imaginable. Um, I want the violence to be brutal, honest, and not popcorn violence, because it's something that pisses me off when I watch a lot of movies, um, and they're called dark movies, but the violence in them is basically there to entertain rather than, to horrify or whatever. I don't like that type of thing. I don't like reading it that way. Um, I think in a book like this, it should be brutal. I'm not writing a popcorn crime book. I'm writing a story that the characters in it, the violence in it affects their lives deeply. So it's very brutal, the violence, the way I've written it. It then goes to the police officer, who is basically a young guy who's got a promotion that he probably shouldn't have gotten. He's basically in charge the little police department in this town. He has a handful of police under his management, and a murder happens, and it's basically he's in charge of it till the big city cops come out, because that's what would happen. City cops would take over, and he gets obsessed. And the murders, there's a big the first murder. Basically, he's in it for quite a bit. For a second murder, he's stepping on toes of the city cops that are investigating it. Even on they're investigating it through his police house, uh, and then there's another murder. There might be another one, whatever. And then there's a gap, and it's what happens to him in between the gap is he becomes totally obsessed. It's about the obsession of trying to catch a killer, and how that would affect your life, how it would affect your marriage, how it would affect your relationship with your kids, your performance at work, your friends, everything. I'm not writing. I'm not. I don't want to sound like a complete arsehole when I say this, but I'm not writing like an Alex Cross type story, um, where it's a bunch of murders or whatever, and then at the end it's all tied up. Then he moves on to the next book, um, and doesn't seem to really get affected by it. This is a watch and all type crime book. I don't. I can say that because this is a book that will, if it gets published, will probably sell piss all. It'll sell. My family members and stuff will probably buy the book, and there's a lot of friends and stuff that would buy the book, but it's not going to sell like a James Patterson book for it. Um, he would probably sells more in the first 20 minutes of his book being on sale, of one book being on sale, than I'll sell in my lifetime. But it's just my way of writing, I guess. Unfortunately, I've also got, which I think a lot of people probably get, so this might be a helpful thing. My brain, when I'm writing, is now thinking of this other project I want to do. So to try and not screw up what I'm writing now, I gave myself half an hour, and I've written down all the stuff I would want to do with that project. I've now put that, what I've written down is now in a drawer, and doing that project is the prize at the end of doing this one. So when I'm at my lowest points, I have to keep telling myself, well, if I want to do that other one, I have to finish this one. That's, people sit and go, well, you want to be a writer, so you must really, really, really like writing. Not particularly. People don't like the writing process. They like the finished thing and being able to show people and entertain people or move people or whatever they're wanting to do with it. The actual process of it is incredibly lonely and self-contained, and the whole time you're thinking it's a piece of shit because it's just the way a writer's brain works. Um, so yeah, that's basically my first 2 days. Um, I'm thinking I'll do one of these on Friday, and I'll go into detail on how the first week. I'm only writing 5 days a week. I'm not writing the weekends. The weekends are my time with my wife, basically. Um, she's a research nurse, so it's when she comes home Monday to Friday, I'm not slating her in any way if she watches this. Um, I think it's hard for her to shut off the work brain. So Saturday and Sunday is basically the days where she's relaxed and everything. She gets to do whatever she wants to do, how she wants to spend her spare time. So that's basically my time with her. It's time with my wife, me, and our puppy to relax. You know, probably binge watch a TV show on a Now TV box. At the moment, it's Bones. Before that was Justified. That was my pick. We didn't finish that. um, I think we're on season 2 of Justified. I'll have to take note of what episode we're up to so we can go back to it, because I really like that show. Before that was Grey's Anatomy, which was her pick, obviously. Not my pick. Annoyingly started to like it, and I don't know why. So yeah, so that's basically how my first 2 days have gone. I tell myself I get up at, well, my wife leaves for work at 7:20 in the morning. We're up at well, I'm up at 6:30. She's up at 6. I tell myself I get whatever chores I need to do done in the morning, and you know, as close to 8 o'clock as possible. That's what I start. And my first break in my head is going to be 12. In reality, it turns out my first break is usually whenever the dog has missed the puppy mats, the training mats. It's got to clean it up, obviously. Or the dog comes over when it's bored, 30 minutes in, trying to entertain itself and wants me to start playing fetch with one of its toys. And there's also the morning walk. The dog can only do 15 minutes at the moment, so we go to the park and stuff. So obviously that takes time away. There's 15-minute walk, but then there's the going there and back aspect of it. So there's these little breaks in the day. We're starting to do the letting the dog out for every 2 hours to see if we'll start doing the toilet in the garden. So there's that. There's then whatever happens, the phone rings, whatever. I think once I'm further in, I'm going to have a don't call between this hour and that hour policy enforced with everyone I know. I think it might be between 8 and 4. Don't call between 8 and 4. Might become a thing. I doubt it'll get upheld, but that's going to be the thing. I don't know about any other writers on here, so anyone that's a writer, I'd love to hear your thoughts on how many hours you should write in a day. I do. Yesterday, I was writing between 8 and 6. There was also the breaks every now and again for the dog and to make lunch and stuff, but it was basically between 8 and 6. I think all in, let's see, out of that, I probably got about 6-7 hours full writing, which is quite good. Kind of means I'm doing 1,000 words an hour without when I don't have distractions, which isn't bad. Yep. We have rabbled on. I'll do another one of these on Friday. I'll catch you up on how many words I'm up to at that point. Maybe some more of the plot. I don't want to give away too much of the plot, so then you won't need to buy the book type thing. You know what I mean? You got to think money at the end of the day. I want to thank anyone that's watched this, especially anyone that comments. This is a major goal for me this year, is to finish a novel. I'm placing all my bets on this one. I have a backup idea for a story, but this one is the one that I have. I don't have an outline plot. I don't want to give that impression. I know the start. I know how many murders, when those murders happen. I have a timeline basically for the crimes. I know basically what the character's going to go through emotionally through the thing, the family dynamics, but I do not know that in between A and B. I don't know what characters are going to appear. I have not done written profiles for every single character that's going to appear in the book, which I know a lot of people do. I haven't. I do that when I write a screenplay. Everyone has a biography written about them when I write a screenplay. It doesn't matter if there's 100 characters in it, they all have a biography. I've not done that for this. This is going to be throw everything to the wall, see what sticks. I have a supporting character that was going to be a small character, which is now going to be a big character because I like him too much. I like him more than the main character actually. I made him a bit of a bastard, so his characters I kind of like. So that's quite good. Anyway, this has gone almost half an hour. Anyone's watched this to the end, they are probably nuts. So I'll leave this with a word, and we'll see how many, if there's any comments that write the word. The word is going to be melon. So if you've watched this to the end, in your comment write melon. Everyone else will be like, what the fuck is melon about? But that'll be our inside joke. So I'll see you again soon. And for anyone that's a comic book collector that's watched this, that's just interested to see what I was doing, I don't know when my next comic book one's going to be, but I just uploaded one, so you might have seen it. And I'll be getting probably some of the books you saw me pick up. I'll be picking up this month as well. I get the same ones every month anyway, so it'll become obvious when I'm going to do videos when these books come out. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one, and keep writing.